guys, Ron here, and once again I invited 9 other Poketubers, and together we created our own Fakemon. Each individual Poketuber gave me an attribute for the Pokemon, like its type, stat, environment, etc., without knowing the other attributes that were chosen. So for example, one Poketuber can choose the type combination of fire flying, while another YouTuber can choose the environment of the deep ocean, which at first glance makes no sense. But it was my job to take all of these random attributes and make them work in a new Pokemon that I created. I've done this like 5 times before, so please go check out the other episodes if you haven't, because this one's surprisingly cohesive in very surprising ways. Now remember, in this video you'll see the various traits that each YouTuber picked, and then their genuine reaction to the 2 Pokemon I made using their set of 2 attributes. If you're new here, I make a ton of videos where I create my own Fakemon, a lot of times with fun challenges and twists, so make sure to subscribe and check them out. Now let's begin with the first Fakemon we all made. But before we begin, how about I create a Fakemon based on today's sponsor, Skillshare. Even as a professional content creator and artist, I'm constantly on the lookout for ways to grow my creativity in order to take my career and hobbies to the next level. And considering it's school season once again, as soon as the leaves begin to fall, I'm in the mood to get cozy, inside the house, and learn new productive hobbies with Skillshare, the largest online community for creatives with thousands of classes led by industry professionals in illustration, film, design, and more. If you've always been wondering how I create the art on my channel, or how I make my videos in general, then beginner or advanced drawing classes are where you may want to start. Or maybe you want to take a deep dive into Photoshop or Procreate to learn how to create digitally, especially now that Skillshare allows you to find classes based on software and material. And if our dreams align, you can check out some creative career classes on YouTube Success, so you can finally share your creativity with the rest of the world. But if you don't know where to begin, Skillshare will immediately recommend various classes tailored to your goals. I'm personally learning digital landscapes and environmental art from Hardy Fowler, so I made a Pokemon based on Skillshare that I would love to see flying in a landscape painting. Nuraven, the knowledge Pokemon, a flying psychic type. Nuraven fly from region to region, learning as much as they can in order to share the knowledge that they've accumulated. They project images from their third eye and are even able to drain an opponent's knowledge during battle, taking away their foe's ability to fight. I've always loved Skillshare's brand colors of green and black, so I made sure to incorporate that into this Pokemon, which I think perfectly matches Skillshare's entire idea. So if you want to create anything, just like how I designed Nuraven over here, head on over to Skillshare right now, because the first 500 people who use the link in my description will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Pressing that link at the top of the description will only improve your life for the better. I can't wait to see what you make. In order to understand how we made this Fakemon, here is a rundown of all 9 attributes my friends provided. They are body shape, power, color scheme, height, environment, ability, stats, type, and personality. This is basically the order in which all the Poketubers responded. After I told each Poketuber which attribute they were in charge of, Smith Plays Pokemon responded first with the body type.
So I went with the body of a creeper from Minecraft, and really, I also run a Minecraft channel, and I thought I would go thematically appropriate.
Honestly, while it's a limiting body shape, it is fairly unique in Pokemon. Not many vertical quadrupeds. Papa C was next with the Pokemon's powers.
The attribute I chose for the first Pokemon is to make it a good mechanic. I always like it when Pokemon have certain jobs, kind of like how Conkeldurr is supposed to be a construction worker, so seeing more Pokemon like that is always cool.
This is another very unique attribute for a Pokemon. Not many Pokemon are great with machinery, let alone those with the body of a creeper. I'm gonna have to think hard about how such a creature would become a good mechanic. What are the odds that we have a Psychic or Steel type? For now, the colors will help us. Will Pragmagic give us some grays that a mechanic Pokemon may have?
So for the colors, I chose this combination of pink, yellow, blue-gray, and purple. Yellow, purple, and pink are my daughter's absolute favorite colors, and blue-gray is a combination of blue and gray, which are the colors of the Demi Boy flag, which I am one. I also thought this combination of colors was versatile enough that Ron would have some wiggle room when designing this Pokemon. I mean, with pink and purple, you could have Psychic or Poison. With blue-gray, you could have Steel or Water. With yellow, you could have Ground or Electric. But who knows, it could be none of those types.
Hey, at least these colors are somewhat pastel, so they're cohesive, but definitely brighter than expected. Now it's Hoodlum Callan's turn with the height.
Alright Ron, for this first Pokemon, I want you to make it 6'4", mostly because I'm 6'4", and I want whatever creature you're creating here to be able to look me in the eyes.
Honestly, that's basically around the height I'd imagine a creeper to be, so this is working out. Although I wouldn't want to look a creeper in the eyes. Now, a creeper could be anywhere, but I'm hoping Vinny will give us a place that is somewhat creepy.
So the attribute that I chose for my first Pokemon was that they would be living in an abandoned nuclear power plant. And I chose this because A, I think nuclear power plants that are abandoned are pretty mysterious and scary, which is a cool vibe. And B, I think this Pokemon is gonna look like an absolute mutated monster, and that's awesome.
That's kind of perfect. A monster that roams an abandoned power plant definitely fits. Perhaps the Pokemon is able to interact with the machines in the power plant. Maybe Rosemary Kelly, aka Necra, can finalize what the hell this Pokemon does and looks like.
For the first Pokemon, I got the attribute of the ability, so I picked Power of Alchemy. This is the signature ability of Alolan Muck and Grimer, and I was really excited to see if it could be adapted to fit a brand new Pokemon. When an ally of a Pokemon with this ability faints, it actually copies its ally's ability. There are a couple of abilities that it can't copy, but I'm gonna let Ron figure this one out.
Guys, Necra just changed the game with this, because I think this makes total sense. What if we made some kind of radioactive blob, almost like Alolan Muck, perhaps a mutated Pokemon that once worked in the nuclear power plant? That's why it roams around there and knows how to mess with the machines. Let's keep this going with the stats Moxie Boosted is going to give us.
So when I was going about making my stats for a Pokemon, I'm a competitive player, so I really wanted to make a Pokemon that fit a specific speed tier and bulk that I thought was just like not underexplored, but like very min-max to be like sort of this Trick Room Assault Vest sweeper. When you're at 23 speed, you're going to be getting undersped by things like Torkoal and Hatterene, but you are still slower than important Pokemon like Amoonguss, which means that under Trick Room, this Pokemon should be able to underspeed Amoonguss and then go first because Trick Room inverts the speed tiers, and that just allows you to attack with impunity for at least like one turn before you go to bed.
Okay, so it's a slow-moving vertical blob with 4 legs. It makes sense. It has high attack, so I'm thinking that one of its mismatched legs is way bigger and bulkier, but the large HP makes sense for something that survived a nuclear blast and persistently chases you around the abandoned facility. It's also big, so HP makes sense. Let's bring it home with the type. I'm hoping Numnexus gives us some kind of poison.
I chose the fire and ground typing because I feel like this typing is really underrated. We have Camerupt and especially Mega Camerupt who are insane, but most of these mons are really slow. Now, if we had a very fast Pokemon with this type of combination, you have Stab Fliblets, Stab Earthquake, even the special side with Stab Fire Blast and Stab Earth Power, coupled with Nasty Plot or SD with any variation of priority and quick attack, even Mach Punch, you will actually be a menace to society.
Okay, you'd think this messes things up, but it actually gives us direction, because now I know I want to make a blob made of molten earth and debris. I can pull it all together by basing this Pokemon on corium, basically a blob created in a nuclear reactor core during a nuclear meltdown. It's this lava-like mixture of metals, fuels, minerals, and earth, so it makes total sense for something like that to inspire a fire ground type. The biggest mass of corium can be found in the decommissioned Chernobyl nuclear power plant. You know, where the biggest nuclear disaster ever happened after one of the reactors exploded. We're basically making a Pokemon Chernobyl. Can Absol Blog's personality work with what I'm cooking?
So for the first Pokemon, I made it highly intelligent, but not very social. I imagine it gets really egotistical, it really even knows that it's that smart and stuff, and it even gets a bit pompous. But it doesn't realize how that affects others, and it actually means well at the end of the day.
This actually helps flesh out the Pokemon. What if this highly intelligent Pokemon is trying to repair the machines in the power plant? Since it's antisocial, it doesn't like trespassers. But it chases them away not because it hates them, but because it means well and is trying to get those people to stay away from the radiation that still lingers. This is a noble Pokemon. Now, one thing I didn't mention is that this Pokemon is basically an amalgamation of multiple Pokemon that worked in the power plant, all clumped together. We have a responsible, serious one as the head, a goofy one on the side, and a cute young one at the bottom. Perhaps these were Pokemon of various stages that fused. Binded to their body and making up most of their limbs will be pieces of the building. These fragments will act as a horn and arm, which allows them to physically attack. The company that owned the power plant is famous in the Pokemon world, so I'm adding their last few letters on the arm, since that arm used to be at the front of the building. Adding Brandon's colors, but in the final version I actually invert the pink and yellow so it looks more hot and lava-like. But before showing the final designs, how about we see the reactions of all these Poketubers as they check out the other attributes for the first time.
Alright, from Smith Plays Pokemon, we have the body of a Minecraft creeper?
Oh man, dude, that's tough.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe it'll get explosion. That'd be kind of cool.
The timing is right, I guess, with the Minecraft movie being announced recently.
I mean, we already have Garganacl, which is basically just Minecraft, but Pokemon.
Its power is that it's a good mechanic.
It's got good mechanics. Or is it a good mechanic? Wait, literally like it's a good mechanic? Like if you bring your car to this Pokemon, it will literally just fix your engine?
Like it fixes cars?
I could be misinterpreting that, but if it's just a mechanic, that's pretty awesome. That's his power. Fair enough. He's good with a wrench.
Light pink, blue, yellow, and eggplant.
Those are some colors I can get behind. I like all of those colors.
Oh my god, those colors are just Alolan Muck colors. Wait, that's actually so funny. Wait.
Eggplant?
Eggplant is nice. I love me some eggplant, let me tell you. Eggplant right off the freaking grill. Ooh, don't get me started. Love that color.
Coming in at a nice 6'4".
AKA my height. No, I'm 5'4". I'm joking. I'm joking, all right?
Did Callum choose his own height? That'd be so funny. Just you could see eye to eye with the Pokemon.
Abandoned nuclear power plant actually kind of fits with the theme that I set, so I like that.
Okay, wait. So it's gonna be like irradiated. It's gonna have like these cool colors. Maybe it'd be like part poison type.
Its ability is the power of alchemy.
That also kind of seems like it'll fit.
Power of alchemy is really cool because like we have a similar Pokemon that's like really like, you know, gross and dirty and like, oh, if it has like nuclear waste in the body, that'd be cool for power of alchemy.
Okay, so it copies the ability of a defeated ally.
Yes, this is exclusive to Alolan Muck for some reason.
Sorry, Ron. That ability's not good.
Very gimmicky.
With power of alchemy in this environment? Wait, that's a crazy combination. This is all coming together.
So we got some FMAB vibes going on here. Edward Elric, but much shorter.
So we have a bit of a bulky attack Trick Room Sweeper.
Its defense is decently high, you know, especially with that HP.
So we are really slow.
Basically just made Ursaluna, but with slower speed.
Why is it thing Dondozo, King Gambit, Ursaluna Core, where the first top 3 stats are so heavy that even if the SPDEF is like moderately low at 55, 145 HP will match that to where it will still be able to choose SPDEF hits.
Nexus, what's up, dude? He was in charge of the typing.
Then from my bestie Nexus, we have the type, which is fire and ground.
Don't love that, I'll be honest.
The coloration's gonna come in clutch. Light pink and yellow are gonna be really necessary, I feel.
Personality is highly intelligent yet antisocial.
Egotistical but means well.
We love a very demure, meaning well king/queen. I love that.
Honestly, if you have Stab Flablets and Stab Earthquake, would you also not be egotistical?
I'm kind of expecting like a fiery themed sort of medieval tower, right? With the Minecraft build.
I keep thinking back to the fact this is going to be a Minecraft creeper-shaped Pokemon whenever I read all this stuff, and it just really reshapes the entire design in my brain.
Behold, Meltower, the Corium Pokemon, a fire ground type. Meltower can be found roaming the remains of an abandoned nuclear power plant. Their body is made up of molten debris. They slowly chase after trespassers and can be seen diligently repairing the machines inside the power plant. It is believed that Meltower mutated from the Pokemon that once worked alongside humans at this plant before it exploded.
Oh my god. Okay.
Wow. Dude, what? Okay.
Oh, that... I don't know how to react to it. It definitely looks like a fire type.
Whoa. Okay. I like that.
Oh, that's actually sick. I would put that on my team.
Yo! When I thought power plant, this is what I was thinking.
Whoa!
Okay, this is pretty cool. It's really tall. I didn't expect it to have like multiple faces.
Oh, okay, yeah. Wow, the colors actually came out really... Wow, okay, I need to shut up. The colors actually worked perfectly.
I see the mechanic influence with that arm thing at the bottom.
It almost looks like ice cream with that bright pink and yellow coloration.
Yo, power of alchemy ability. Here's my theory. Bro actually didn't look like this upon his inception, but he went to a nuclear power plant. He started messing around with too much magic that he couldn't control, and now he looks like melted ice cream.
That is awesome.
It just kind of look like a little blob monster that you'd face or like an RPG like Dragon Quest or something like that, right?
This is a very goopy, absorbing type of Pokemon that makes a lot of sense to feel like it would be next to an ally that it could absorb its own ability.
I like that its body's sort of melting because that means that it's gonna like have to slowly make its way towards things. So yeah, 23 speed makes sense.
It's like if Stonegender and Ditto had a kid.
He's an abomination, but in the best ways possible.
So spooky.
Meltower. Oh, that's such a good name for this.
Feels like it's a special attacker to me visually, but I can definitely see it just kind of going like with that giant like metal claw, so that'd be really cool.
I could just see it like lifting up one of those legs and being like, well, actually.
6'4"? Never mind. I don't know how the thing joined the Lakers. Ain't got no hands.
Also gotta say, the use of the creeper is very creative.
The height definitely makes sense for this Pokemon. I mean, it's all stacked on top of each other.
I've always attributed high HP with things with large bodies, like there's a lot of meat on them. And this definitely, you know, is a large specimen, so I really mess with that.
I like it.
Dude, I'm noticing more things every time I look at this. I think when I was in the last video, which by the way, you should go check that one out. He'll link it in the description, I'm sure. I said the similar thing. It's like you look at these Pokemon, you notice things, and then you start to notice more, and then you feel even better about it.
This looks like a legitimate Pokemon. I'm very impressed.
Meltower can be found roaming the remains of an abandoned nuclear power plant.
That was your boy right there. Their body is made up of molten debris.
Okay, I see that.
They slowly chase after trespassers and can be seen diligently repairing the machinery inside the power plant.
These guys work for free?
So literally, he is a mechanic. I was right. Hell yeah. It's a great tidbit. I love that.
It is believed that Meltower mutated from the Pokemon that once worked alongside humans at this plant before it exploded. That's so dark, but it makes so much sense.
This is sick.
What did I say? He didn't always look like this.
I'm looking at an image of Corium right now. Yeah, it just looks like molten waste.
You hear that, Ronnie? There's Corium in Chernobyl.
This is a Chernobyl Pokemon. I see it.
Given all of the attributes that it was given, y'all cooked.
That lore is sick, but they work for free. They get no food out of it, no benefits, no 401k, no retirement plan. What is this?
Maybe they need help. Maybe they need humans to come back and fix the power plant, because, buddy, you don't got thumbs.
I think all of us came together unknowingly very well and made a solid Pokemon with a good theme.
This surpassed my expectations entirely.
Well, that was freaking awesome. Great first Pokemon. I'm just going to rank it. I'm going to give that a 9 out of 10, dude.
But I'm actually honestly blown away by this. That's insane.
I think I'm just turned off from 23 speed. I can't get over that. 23 speed, dude.
This was smooth sailing, honestly. Usually I get anxious trying to figure out how to make these, attributes work as each Poketuber gives me them over the span of a couple of weeks. But this time I was pretty calm. Can I stay calm for Fakemon number 2? Let's begin with Smith Plays Pokemon and check out the environment he picked.
So the environment that I gave for this Pokemon was left a little open-ended. I said it lives under cities. So that could be sewers, that could be abandoned tunnels. I kind of wanted to leave it relatively open.
Okay, now since we had sewers in a previously recent episode, I just interpreted that as the city in general, but I'm also including, back alleys, abandoned buildings, and the sewers, technically. What personality will Papa C give our Pokemon?
The attribute I chose for this Pokemon is make it curious and get into a lot of trouble. I always like mischievous Pokemon like Sneasel and Pokemon like that, so I want to see more like that in the game.
That's definitely the kind of personality I'm imagining a Pokemon that hides in the city would have. A sort of pickpocket Pokemon, perhaps? Pragmagic is in charge of the height. It better be something that can fit in an alley.
For the height, I decided on it being 1 foot tall. Some of the cutest Pokemon in existence are that height, like Goomy, Bounsweet, Eevee, Rowlet, so I just wanted a cute little guy.
Okay, so that Pokemon can fit anywhere, kinda perfect. Do the colors make sense in a city? It's Callum's job to let us know.
Iron, for this next Fakemon, I would like you to use these 4 colors. Hylar Yellow, Alizarin Crimson, Kiwi, and Maximum Blue. I will send you the hex codes. They are 4 of my favorite colors, specifically Hylar Yellow.
Okay, that thing pops out. Does that mean we have to abandon our idea of this thing sneaking around? That all depends on the power Vinny is going to give us.
So this Pokemon has the ability to transform into any inanimate object, and it can also lower its heart rate so low that it appears dead. But when it's in this state, it's actually the most lethal. I just thought it would be really cool for this Pokemon to be so stealthy that if it needed to hide, it could literally just transform into a cup.
Damn, Vinny just saved it and solidified the concept. Yeah, it's colorful, but the thing looks like an object to people. I wonder if the stats Necro gave us will nurture the idea.
As a competitive Pokemon caster, I was excited for the challenge of trying to create something that could potentially be seen in competitive play. I started by looking at the speed stat of where most of my favorite Pokemon sit, which is around 87 to 95. I noticed though, looking at a lot of those Pokemon that sit in that speed range, that they're all physical attackers, outside of a couple of legendaries that also sit there. So I knew I wanted this Pokemon to be special attack focused, but also have some pretty good natural bulk, so you have a little bit of flexibility to play around there.
I guess these stats are so balanced that it may complement a Pokemon that can look like anything. It's specially offensive though, so I have to figure a way for it to attack from a distance. I'm thinking that this thing could be Fairy, which are, mischievous shapeshifters with high special attack, but the type is all up to Moxie boosted.
For Fakemon number 2, I really wanted a Pokemon that was one specific typing that I've always wanted in the game and we just never had it. Bug Dragon. I like bugs and I like dragons. I think that there are a lot of bugs that if you scale them up would be terrifying as dragons. Like if you were to take here's a great example, a dragonfly and have it spew fire from its mouth or some kind of like acid, like that'd be a really cool dragon. Dragons don't always spew fire, sometimes they can spew some other thing like magic.
Okay, but a dragon spewing anything goes great with the stats. It's not fairy or steel or anything associated with items, but what if the Pokemon's based on those various reflective beetles with iridescent scales? A sparkly Pokemon that looks like the sparkles you can find in the overworld in recent Pokemon games? So it doesn't really transform into objects, but looks like an item to the player. Another mimic Pokemon. And there are plenty of bugs that look like snakes to ward off predators, so a reptilian looking bug isn't far-fetched. And since this Pokemon looks shiny and loves to collect shiny objects, that ties it back to the trope of dragons loving to collect shiny objects. I think this is going to make a whole lot of sense, but goddamn does it hinge on the body type that Numb Nexus is going to give us.
I chose a 4-legged leopard type creature because, come on, man. I love leopards. I feel like we don't have enough of that in the actual Pokemon space. And I was obsessed with National Geographic. I even literally bought the program for it. So 4-legged leopard-like with an extremely long tail. That's my flow. I love that.
Okay, originally the body that he gave me made me panic. Leopard-like makes no sense for a bug, but I can make the antennas look like cat ears and make it look like it stalks shiny items like a leopard stalks its prey. Technically, a leopard is an animal that camouflages, so it thematically works. The long tail is tricky though when it's already 1 foot tall. I don't want the body to be 2 inches and the tail to be 10 inches, but the design process will flesh it out. So bring us home, Matt.
Okay, for the second Pokemon, I picked the ability. And by crazy coincidence, I picked Power of Alchemy, because I thought it was cool, without knowing that it was already picked for the first one. So instead, I went with Emergency Exit, because more Pokemon could use that.
That's literally Golisopod and Wimpod's ability, so it makes total sense for another bug that would like to skedaddle when it's caught. It's surprising how both of the abilities we got today fit perfectly. Let's do it. Now, originally I was leaning into the leopard aspect too much, which meant its limbs were fairly long and it looked kind of intimidating, but this is a 1 foot tall Pokemon, so the proportions had to be more compact. So the tail got way bigger. I thought that if this thing shoots stuff and it looks like an item that can be found in the city, why not make the tail look like a gun? That was a terrible idea though, and by the time I added leopard spots, it became too complicated. So I went in a different direction. Maybe a cute cat bug? More bug-like than the previous version? I definitely see more dragon attributes now, but I'm beginning to tell how all of these unrelated origins are clashing in the design. So why not just make a simple little bug? Something cute, and basically give it cat paws and cat ears. And that's it. Nothing complicated. Its eyes even sparkle to showcase its greed and how this thing is shiny like an iridescent beetle. But the long dragon-headed tail is what finally ties it all together. It makes sense with the many bug tails that aid in intimidating predators, and I can make it so that the tail shoots out dragon breath and hyper beams. And I even added more sparkly spots that can be interpreted as leopard spots. After refining it, the colors that Callum gave us actually help us a lot in making this Pokemon look iridescent, with the maximum blue working perfectly for the dragon typing. This went from a disaster to a Pokemon I know will be popular. Now let's see everybody's reaction to the attributes before I reveal the Pokemon to them.
So let's see the attributes here. Lives in a city.
Ooh, I'm already getting some Unova vibes.
There's a lot of things in the city, so he could just transform into a bunch of different things. Could he transform into an entire skyscraper? Who knows?
Papacy gave it the personality of a
Curious troublemaker.
Maybe a thief of some kind?
That makes sense, because my boy's going into some mischievous territory, and then if he does something wrong, like steal a cookie from the cookie jar, bam! He just turns into another cookie jar and lowers the heart rate. Epic. Am I too excited? I'm sorry. I like these videos. They make me very happy. Subscribe to TrueGreen7. Do it right now, or I'll come for you.
Pragmagic gave it the height of 1 inch.
I am taller than that.
1 foot, not 1 inch.
We're gonna get a squirrel here? It's a foot tall. Yeah, we're gonna actually get a squirrel?
Little lad, I'm sure he loves berries and cream.
But then we've got like highlighter yellow, crimson, kiwi, maximum blue.
What is maximum blue? We got like Sonic the Hedgehog?
That's a tough word to pronounce, huh? Alizarin Crimson?
There's more specific than eggplant.
Did you know that a kiwi has more vitamin C than an orange and more potassium than a banana?
It can transform into inanimate objects and lower its heart rate.
Yo, Vinny, what? Bro, don't Pokemon fans hate inanimate objects?
How do my stats fit into all of this?
Necker gave it a huge stat spread, 535.
These are like starter Pokemon stats. Maybe that's what Necro was going for here.
See, Necker and I are both competitive players, so I can dissect this.
It's kind of giving a more frail Pheasantipity.
So it's like Incineroar Light.
That special attack is godly.
Its special attack's reasonable. This would be like the sort of Pokemon that you would put like a Life Orb on just to get a little bit more damage out of it.
Doesn't sound like a special attacker. It sounds like it should be a physical attacker.
At 91 speed, you're outspeeding a lot of important Pokemon.
Awkward speed, in my opinion.
That stat spread doesn't exactly fit a tiny little guy, but you know, we'll see.
Oh no, did I mess this up?
Dragon bug type, like where your head's at, Moxie.
We're weak to rocks.
Four-legged leopard-like with a super long tail.
Leopard? Oh no.
I don't know how it's gonna work with the dragon and a bug, but we'll try.
This is going to be an interesting bug.
Well, lowering its heart rate, I feel like that's something a leopard or like a cheetah could maybe do.
Oh no, its ability's emergency exit?
Not another bug with emergency exit, please. We can't keep doing this. I love Golisopod.
What?
Oh, they just nerfed my boy already with emergency exit. Okay.
Like imagine Quiver Dancing to get emergency exited. Dude, like that would suck.
I could definitely see that working with the whole Curious Troublemaker needing to get out in a pinch. You know, your transformation fell through, so now you need to get out of there.
It's your get out of jail free card if you're a troublemaker.
Okay, you've got your work cut out here.
Here is Modifly, the sparkling Pokemon. This curious Pokemon loves to skitter around town and collect shiny objects using the jaw on its tail. The sparkles that reflect off of Modifly's iridescent body confuses trainers into thinking that it is one of the many shiny items that can be found on the ground. When spotted, it flashes a bright light and disappears. In battles, it releases a steady laser from its tail.
Here we go. Oh my god.
You look magnificent.
Whoa! It's so glimmery.
Oh my god! The colors! Let's go! Dude, I'm so glad I got to choose the colors. These colors are so good.
Yo!
Modifly! Wait, it's so cool!
Okay, this is cool.
Oh, that is cool. I see how the leopard thing was pulled off with it still being a bug. The dragon tail is really, really neat.
It's tough. I mean, the tail with like the little dragon head, it looks so cool. The name is hard.
I think the name Modifly is just fantastic too.
That is so cool, because you can modify into the cup like we talked about.
This is a quintessential dragon bug type if I've ever seen one.
I think it's as leopard-like as it's probably gonna get.
It's got some cat feet.
I mean, its head is obviously down there, like, you know, on its thorax. I know, bug.
And I love how he looks really big, but he's actually only a foot tall. He's a very little lad.
I know Pokemon can be small and mighty, but it's also so small to have the base stat spread that I gave it.
It certainly looks very devious, and I could definitely see that special attack working in its favor.
I mean, it looks like it attacks with the tail. Like, it could spew fire from the tail.
Especially if it's a special attacker. Do you think you get something like Dragon Breath? Struggle Bug is really good.
And the shiny goes hard too. I love how it goes like dark on the tail and everything.
That like highlighter green back, like leading up to this like draconic tail.
This one convinces me that we need more purple and yellow shinies.
Wow, dude. I love it.
This is a pretty realistic Pokemon, like all things considered.
I'm gonna say I like the second one better. The second one looks way cooler.
Personally, I'm not seeing this in a city. I think I would be terrified to see this in a city.
Pokedex entry. This curious Pokemon loves to skitter around town and collect shiny objects using the jaw on its tail. Okay, I got that from the design. I'm glad I was able to pick that out.
The sparkles that reflect off of Modifly's iridescent body confuses trainers into thinking that it's one of the many shiny items that can be found on the ground.
I see the iridescence now as a part of this Pokemon's body.
When spotted, it flashes a bright light and disappears.
In battle, it releases a steady laser from its tail.
Laser tail?
That's tough. This one is clean. Modifly. I'm obsessed with this one.
Okay. I'm impressed now.
I like that it's a dragon, and dragons like to collect things. That's cute.
Dragon protecting the treasure. That is clever.
This one's a masterpiece, I think. I really like that, like, just from the design and like the small bits of information I was given, I could point out like mechanically how it would work in game.
Thanks so much for having me as a part of this video and a part of this process.
Thank you for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
This was great. Thank you for having me, Ron. I really appreciate it. I love being a part of these videos. I'm genuinely so stoked about this.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And if you loved it, you know what to do. I already dropped one sub plug. Do it again. Well, don't subscribe and then subscribe again, because then you'll unsubscribe. So only subscribe once if you've already haven't subscribed, subscribe!
I can't believe it. 6 episodes in a row and we're still going strong. And now we finally have enough to make 2 teams of 6 to battle each other. I hope you guys enjoyed this enough to want to see a part 7. Leave a like and subscribe if you do. Maybe even share this with any Poketuber you want to see in the series. Check out my other Fakemon creation videos and check the description for the links to these lovely YouTubers. And consider becoming a patron or clicking the join button to get cool rewards like seeing videos days early and a huge discount on the t-shirts I made for you guys. Follow me on Twitter where I post sneak peeks and final art of these Pokemon too. Bye!